Breaking news, Utah's redistricting plans are heading to Governor Cox's desk after the Senate approved them just 15 minutes ago in a 21-7 vote.
Governor Cox says that he won't veto the plans despite claims of gerrymandering from the public.
I'm a very practical person. I'm not a bomb thrower, and I believe in good governance.
The Legislative Redistricting Committee released the plans this weekend and held a public meeting on them on Monday. In the meeting, many Utahns pointed out that the dividing Salt Lake City into 4 congressional districts is unfair and gerrymandering. Governor Cox compared Utah gerrymandering to the widespread gerrymandering in the rest of the country.
I've shared our maps with friends that live on the East Coast, and they always laugh at the gerrymandering that happens here.
The Independent Redistricting Committee proposed their own sets of maps, but the Legislative Committee stuck with their own plans.
I feel like some of the other areas are a little bit more crowded, so sometimes it's hard to find a spot.
BYU's library construction is affecting students studying, especially right with finals around the corner.
What we teach our kids when they're just little. Your parents taught you, stranger danger. That's you don't know this person.
BYU police talk about where sexual assault is most common on BYU campus.
The Supreme Court of the United States declared, albeit through a highly fractured Supreme Court opinion, one that couldn't even and didn't even garner a single focal point majority, a plurality opinion.
The U.S. Supreme Court hears arguments on Mississippi abortion law. Welcome to Universe Live. I'm Katie M. Powell.
And I'm Emily Jones. It's Wednesday, December 1st. Today, the Supreme Court takes up an abortion case that could fundamentally transform the decision made in Roe v. Wade.
Britt Conway gives us the details on arguments on the Mississippi abortion law for this morning in D.C.
Jane Roe versus Henry Wade, a case filed in Dallas, Texas 50 years ago. Less than 3 years later, the Supreme Court ruled to affirm abortion rights nationwide. Since then, the case we now know as Roe v. Wade has been at the center of American politics.
Trust women! Trust women! We will abolish abortion!
Now, the justices consider a momentous question. Should Roe v. Wade be overturned? Front and center, a Mississippi law signed in 2018, though it's been blocked by lower courts ever since because it directly conflicts with Roe v. Wade and the 1992 case Planned Parenthood v. Casey. These cases establish the Constitution protects a woman's choice to have an abortion, and states can only ban abortions after the point of viability. That's when a fetus can survive outside the womb. In 1992, the court said that's between 23 and 24 weeks, but the Mississippi law bans abortions after 15 weeks. If the justices uphold the Mississippi law, it would be much easier for states to ban or more seriously restrict abortion rights. With one estimate of 26 states fully banning abortions, seen here in orange, with nearly a half-century of legal precedent built upon Roe v. Wade hanging in the balance. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Mike Lee himself is pushing for overturning Roe v. Wade, asking Capitol Hill to mimic what they did for COVID and put up a flag for every abortion.
What if we put up little red flags, each representing one of the American lives lost to abortion every year?
Mike Lee spoke at the Supreme Court informing Utahns of his stance against abortion. You can see the masses of protesters on the Supreme Court steps behind him. The Supreme Court will continue to hear arguments, but a decision is not expected until late June.
As part of a campus safety series, we've talked about where women feel unsafe at BYU and if BYU's safety resources work. In the final part of the series, reporter Allie O'Rulian talks about the underlying fear behind these issues. Allie, why do women often feel unsafe?
Well, in part one, I was here in the Heritage Hall's overflow parking lot talking to young women about how they feel unsafe walking home at night in fear of being sexually assaulted. But in fact, sexual assault rarely happens in these scenarios. It most often happens in places we're familiar with.
Women take certain daily precautions to stay safe. But there's one place that most people put their guard down, on a date. But first and second dates are a hot spot for sexual assault.
That's where it's happening in the car, at an apartment, those areas.
Being in a car on an infamous Provo date like driving up the canyon or parking up at the Y or at Squaw Peak, and being alone in an apartment while, say, watching a movie create scenarios where dates, most often men, perform sexual acts that are not consensual. This creates guilt and shame for the victim and feeling that it's their fault for going on the date in the first place. But sexual assault is not the fault of the victim, regardless of what they choose to do on a date. Lisa Levitt, the lead sexual assault advocate at BYU, says there's a lack of knowledge surrounding consent and safety.
We have a particularly naive population in this campus.
There are a couple points she says our society can improve on. First, consent needs to be more often and more adamantly taught. Second, people should be more wary of trusting dates, especially on dating apps. And third, we should be more willing to discuss sexual assault openly with each other.
There's a lot of power in peer-to-peer education.
BYU offers resources to victims of sexual assault, such as the Title IX office, sexual assault advocates like Levitt, and Women's Services.
If you are a victim of sexual assault and would like help, Title IX and Lisa Levitt are located in the Wilk. Reporting live in Provo, I'm Allie O'Rulian.
Thanks, Allie.
The Utah Highway Patrol is looking for a gunman who shot and hit at least 4 cars early Tuesday on I-15. Witnesses described the suspect's vehicle as a light-colored SUV and possibly a Jeep Cherokee. 2 people from the cars were hit by gunshots and sustained non-life-threatening injuries. The suspect was last seen heading on south on I-15 and their current location is unknown.
At least 2 Orem police officers are on administrative leave with pay as an investigation continues into an officer-involved shooting. Friday night, police went to investigate a fight at 1100 South 50 East in Orem where a 41-year-old son stabbed his 68-year-old father. They found the suspect near the crime scene. He charged the officers with weapons in both hands. Multiple officers fired shots while trying to arrest the suspect and the man was hit. He was given medical attention but ultimately died from his injuries.
Construction in the libraries on campus this semester and has resulted in some changes for BYU students and library employees. Universe Live reporter Isabel Brown has more on the story.
The Harold B. Lee Library has had ongoing construction on the 3rd and 4th floors, improving spaces for student use. Some students who study in the library have had to adjust some of their routines in order to accommodate these disruptions.
I study in the library. I would say probably a split between studying in my apartment and the library.
I feel like some of the other areas are a little bit more crowded, so sometimes it's hard to find a spot.
I think because of that there has been an increase of people here in this area, but I don't think there's an increase of people overall just because of the construction.
Help desk workers in the library have had varying experiences in assisting students with this transition. As the semester progresses, there is less reacclimation on both ends.
When we had construction in front of me over there, the printers, people didn't know where the printers were, and so they would come up and ask all the time where they were.
It might affect other desks, but so far it hasn't really affected our desk very much.
In general, however, there is a positive attitude towards these changes and what the future of the library looks like.
I like the little glass cubicles they have, even though it's not like soundproof, you kind of feel like you're in your own little spot, and it's just really nice.
I think it looks amazing, especially with the big windows. I really liked it. I feel like 1 or 2 semesters of construction was worth it for what we have now.
Reporting for Universe Live in Provo, I'm Isabel Brown.
The Transportation Security Administration, better known as the TSA, released its 20-year celebration calendar featuring 12 of their furrier agents, and one of them is a local. Meet Hilbert, Alona, and Badger, just a few of the good boys and girls keeping airline passengers safe. And here's Marty, a German short-haired pointer stationed locally at the Salt Lake City International Airport, who is cross-eyed and steals a bite of pizza every time he smells it. The 2022 calendar is available as a printable PDF on the agency's website at tsa.gov.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints annual Light the World initiative is underway. The theme this year is Light the World with Love and features a calendar of daily service ideas starting today and goes until Christmas Day. This year, there is a new children's calendar to help all members of the family to get involved. To participate in this initiative, you can print out the service calendar, go to one of the giving machines, and discover the meaning behind the message of Light the World. For more information on any of these things, go to thechurchofjesuschrist.org/come unto Christ.
BYU is partnering with 3 other universities in a research project funded by the NFL to research hamstring injuries.
So this study is the biggest study on hamstring injuries that's ever happened.
We will tell you what these researchers found to help athletes get back in the game.
For us, it's a lot of long hours, so we're usually 12 to 14 hours a day.
Find out how Christmas tree farms prepare for the busy holiday season.
We have continued haze and high pressure into the weekend, but I'll tell you when to be on the lookout for a new storm.
Sundance will require proof of vaccination for festival goers next year.
All taste and no sin. A new cafe brings guilt-free satisfaction with a cup of coffee.
We're getting to that ball, girl, and we are going to burn it.
BYU's premier sketch comedy group makes a comeback appearance for its first time since COVID-19.
The content, there's a lot of it, and then the tests.
I have a hard time with exams.
My brain just wants to fall asleep the whole time.
Students tell us about the classes they're praying to pass here on campus.
A BYU student catches the attention of the University Trademark Office after their video reaches more than 1.5 million views on TikTok.
Utah's very own Corn Bellies is getting national recognition, making USA Today's top 10 list of best mazes in the country.
Fall is finally here. Find out about some of the best activities to do here in Provo.
Over 75% of our campus vaccinated. I'll breathe a little bit easier.
What one university president is willing to do to incentivize his students to get vaccinated.
BYU has just as many sexual assault cases as any other college in Utah.
BYU Women's Services and the Title IX office are hosting their Voices of Courage campaign this week in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
The city of Provo is considering charging people to park on public streets and wants your input.
The White House is making plans to help students after COVID-19 has taken a toll on their emotional health and academic success. Rumor has it, a major social media platform is planning a rebrand.
Find out which apps might be getting a name change as early as next week.
I feel like some of the other areas are a little bit more crowded, so sometimes it's hard to find a spot.
BYU's library construction is affecting students studying, especially right with finals around the corner.
What we teach our kids when they're just little. Your parents taught you, stranger danger. That's you don't know this person.
BYU police talk about where sexual assault is most common on BYU campus.
The Supreme Court of the United States declared, albeit through a highly fractured Supreme Court opinion, one that couldn't even and didn't even garner a single focal point majority, a plurality opinion.
The U.S. Supreme Court hears arguments on Mississippi abortion law.
BYU is partnering with 3 other universities in a research project funded by the NFL to research hamstring injuries.
So this study is the biggest study on hamstring injuries that's ever happened.
We will tell you what these researchers found to help athletes get back in the game.
For us, it's a lot of long hours, so we're usually 12 to 14 hours a day.
Find out how Christmas tree farms prepare for the busy holiday season.